But also, it's not millennials in ugly rooms texting.
Exactly.
Hi, I'm Izzy. I've never been good in matters of the heart, never had that moment, where everything falls into the perfect spot. Who knows? Maybe this will be the year.
So congratulations on this movie. I kind of love that it's a whole family affair. Was that the initial plan, or were you just writing the script and you were like, oh wait, my family does this too?
No, totally the plan. We wanted to find a way to all work together and give each other jobs that no one else would give us. No one was just gonna let me do, write a first feature screenplay of this scope. My mom wasn't really into the feature script she was finding as a director, and my sister had never had a producer credit before. So yeah, that was the concept, the way we sort of conceived of the project.
Also, I wanted her to score it. I love her music, and I wanted to put it in the movie, and wanted her to use her degree.
Is that what your degree is in this?
I went to conservatory for music. Actually, for jazz, I'm the biggest nerd on the planet.
You guys are one of the most talented families ever. It's really not fair.
We're really not. Honestly, we're not. We're just concentrated in one area, and there's 4 of us, so it seems more impactful than it is.
But it's a pretty big area to conquer. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Where did the idea for this script come from?
I just had a really bad year. I feel like millennials, people are so mean to them. I empathize with them. I'm a millennial. It's my generation. I think we got stuck in this really weird sort of socioeconomic rut, and it sort of reflects back on us in this way where people are constantly ridiculing the way that we make our choices, especially in our 20s. And so I wanted to create a piece of work that showed that, I was like, man, there's nothing for me to watch, so I'm just going to try and make it, because I was bummed. And Girls was ending, and I was super depressed. I was like, Girls can't end.
As a director directing your daughters, how was that?
It was really interesting. It was very interesting. It's an interesting thing as a mother to kind of keep up with who they've become, because it's always easy to remember when you change their diapers and when they were teenagers. But then, you really have to accept that they're full-on women. And so, this is not a PG movie. This is an R-rated movie. This is a very honest take on what it's like to be dating in this time. And so I got to learn about them as really, really 100% accept them as women and fellow artists of equal caliber. And that's a really cool thing. I really enjoyed it. And we all really helped each other. We all really lifted each other up and gave each other courage, and worked out the kinks of having new jobs. I've directed before. I've directed TV movies and episodic TV, but I hadn't directed my own feature from the ground up. And, I had to decide a lot of things and make sure that they were in tune with Maddie's vision as a writer.
It's kind of mind-blowing to hear that this is your first movie directing your first screenplay for a feature film, because it was so good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
And obviously your family, you're so close, you kind of know everything about each other, but when you're in the working sense, did you learn anything about each other that surprised you or that was new?
I learned I learned a lot about Maddie. She's such an amazing. I know she's an amazing writer, but the way she approached the notes was really like a really, really seasoned professional. She would just take the ball, turn it around, look at it, and go throw it back, and that was better. It was very cool. And she also had these comedy chops that I didn't know she had. I'd worked with her as more of a dramatic actress.
Well, thank you, Mom.
Yeah.
I paid her to say that.
Her comedy chops were really great, and I learned a lot. And obviously, we had a lot of nerve-wracking moments that we were in the trenches. It really does feel like you're in the trenches.
Yeah. I think it wasn't what I learned about my mom, but what I already knew about her that no one else knew. That's what was revealed on set to me and to a lot of other people. I think people know my mom as a public person, as being very sweet and generous, and she is all those things, but my mom is also a cunning creative person, absolutely unstoppable in her kind of aim and target when it comes to creativity. And so, she was in her cargo shorts, with her tube socks, with her shell top Adidas, with her baseball cap. I call her the Hobbit when she's directing, because she gets really low to the ground and moves kind of stealthily. And I don't think people had seen her in that environment where she was generous but uncompromising in her in her choices as a director.
I love it. And you have such a great cast. What was it like assembling all of these people together?
Oh my God, it was so fun. And also really good as an actor to see the casting side and the other side of it, because it makes you less depressed as an actor.
Did you have a hand in the casting? I know
Yeah.
some of the people you obviously know or
Yeah,
your sisters worked with.
Cameron and Nick, we attached really early on. Nick was one of the first people we
Nick
attached.
Braun, Cameron Monaghan.
And then Brandon T. Jackson, my mom took a meeting with him, and I was so excited about him. I'm such a fan of his. And Jesse Bradford, I was freaking out because he was like my big time like adolescent crush and Bring It On. I was just Cliff Pantone, and Zach Rohrig came in and was like so funny and just like such a sweetheart kind of meathead character, and like we had the most fun casting it ever. But I thought it was good to be on the other side of it, because as an actor, it's really easy to take everything personally from a casting standpoint. And when you're on the other side of it, you realize that a lot of the time, the best person for the job doesn't always get the job. There's all these other factors floating around in the air, and you know, it's just a lot more complicated than that, and it gives you a lot of compassion for the other side of it.
You also forgot my love interest, Melissa Bologna.
And Avon Jogia.
Hilarious.
Avon
Jogia, who you wrote the part for.
I wrote Sebastian for Avon, and I think Avon is incredibly funny in the movie. Like when we first started doing screenings of this, we would like kind of ask people, and like a lot of people said in the very beginning that their favorite character was Avon, and I was like, I love Avon, but I think we've done something wrong. They should be saying Izzy. But that's how like likable he is and funny.
And especially because he does something really bad.
Yeah. That goes to show you what a special
Spoiler
actor
alert.
he is. No, to do something that kind of like societally looked down upon, and then still be like, no, but I still love him. Like that says a lot about him.
I love that you also don't sugarcoat anything. This felt very real to me and very much like, okay, I've been in these places, and you have the audition scenes, which are incredible. I think those were kind of fun to watch.
Thank you for bringing those up.
Yeah.
No one's brought those up today.
That's I'm not an actor, but I know that it's not easy to go through. So
They
have you had
often
any
feel that
fun audition stories or anything?
Those
that
are true.
inspired those?
Those are true. Those auditions are true. Not everything in the movie is autobiographical, but those are. Like, really. Yeah.
And there was even one that was really great that I had to cut out because weirdly the movie was really long. I had to cut like
oh my God, the movie was like
45
3
minutes.
hours.
I had to cut like
no, it's not
almost an
weirdly.
hour.
I did a lot of things for a first-time screenwriter that are just unacceptable. Like the shooting draft was 115 pages, which in 2018 is kind of not acceptable for like a dramedy. You are looking at more like 90 pages, and so I put that on production's back in a way that I think was unfair. Now looking back as a writer, I think that was unfair. I should
Not to mention the 4 seasons and the 4 major cities.
Yeah, and the like 18 main cast. Like the movie has a big scope, which I think is what, like when we screened it at festivals, people were very confused because it has the scope of a studio film, but I think the feeling of an independent film. And people were very confused by that.
But that was something that I really wanted to do.
Yeah,
like,
we did it on purpose.
I wanted to give millennials scope. I didn't want to just like have them in rooms like texting, in ugly rooms. I really wanted them to. You could make
my latest film is actually Millennials in Rooms, Ugly Rooms Texting.
That's the sequel.
That's
Millennials in Ugly Rooms
I wanted them in pretty rooms. I wanted them
Pretty rooms,
and I wanted
not
it shot
texting.
beautifully. I mean, we had really expensive lenses and I wanted it to look like an old-fashioned Woody Allen movie, and I wanted to be in San Francisco. I wanted to be in Central Park. I wanted to be in the snow. I wanted to do it. I wanted to give the millennials their due. It's like they can live in a beautiful world and, still have really bad problems.
Never goes away. We never know what we're going to do with our lives.
No. I know. I'm here. I've been doing it. And I still feel like, oh my gosh. I spend so much time thinking like I should have done that and why am I not that? And I'm 195 years old. So it never ends.
Sorry, are you Buddha?
Last thing, why would you tell people to see the movie and what do you hope they take away from it?
I hope people see the movie because I think it's 2018 and we need to support content made by women. And that's the political reason. And the fun reason that I would tell people to watch the movie is because they're going to laugh and they're going to cry. And it's sexy, but it's also embarrassing. And it's messy, but it's also, real. I think. I don't know. It feels real to me, aside from the fact that we're just like better lit.
Yeah. And I hope people see it, because I love this movie. I've seen this movie, I don't know, 50, 70, 80 times, and I still love the movie. I think it's beautiful, and I think it's funny, and it's personal. And a lot of times, the more personal something is, the more everyone can relate to it, which seems weird.
Specificity and universality
are close together.
Yeah.
And I think that it's so rare that there's a story written by a 23-year-old woman and told by women. It's just impossible. Women disappear in their 20s in film. Like they go from being virgins to mothers. Like where's the middle part? Where's the 20s? And this is what I like about the movie. But also, it's just really entertaining. The music's great.
But also, it's not millennials in ugly rooms texting.
Exactly.
That's next year.
Yeah, that's my second film.